guys, welcome to the class. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the types of signals and what is meant by signal and the objectives of signaling and also classifications made by the location of this placing of these signals and the types of typical layouts and control movement of these trains by using of the signals and automatic signaling how we use in the present day era. So what is signaling? The signaling consists of the systems, devices, and means by which the trains are operated, and these trains can operate effectively, and the tracks are used to maximum extent and maintaining the safety of the passengers, the staff, and the rolling stock. The main purpose of these signalings is to effectively operate the trains and also use the track to the maximum extent and to provide safety to the uh, passengers, staff, and also the rolling stock. Here, it includes the use and working of signals, points, block instruments, and other equipments. Here, the main objectives of these signalings are to provide and facilitates for the efficient moving of the trains and also to make ensure the safety between two or more trains which cross or approach path each other's path, and to provide facilitates for the maximum utility of the track, and also it's to provide the safety and efficient shunting operations and to guide the train's movement during maintenance and the repairs of the track, to safeguard the trains at converging junctions and give directional indications of diverging junctions, which these are the main motors, these are the main objectives of the signaling is to provide to make ensure the safety of passage of two or more trains and also to cross over each other on the other paths and to provide the maximum utility of the track and also to guide the train's movement during maintenance and repairs of the track. The railway signaling is a system which is used to control the railway traffic safely and essentially to prevent trains from colliding with one another. If these signaling points has not been arranged, the movement of the trains can be more dangerous, and these signals can help to move those trains in a particular path and to know where the train is, and it is more easily for the passengers to get the information about the trains they are reaching to. And being guided by fixed rails, these trains are uniquely susceptible to collisions, and more, these trains cannot stop quickly and frequently operate at speeds that do not enable them to stop within sighting distance of the driver. So, if the signals are not provided properly and we are traveling in the opposite directions on same track, if two trains are traveling in the opposite direction to one another and on the same track, these drivers or these locomotive can't handle itself for applying of breakage, and if we apply the breakage, these trains need not to stop quickly, and these requires when the driver in the sighting distance, these do trains can't be operated to stop them within the sighting distance of the driver. So it takes so these trains cannot stop quickly, as we all know that. So these collisions may occur if the signals may fail in the uh, heavy train traffic areas, the set of rules and the physical equipment used to accomplish this determines what is known as the method of working or method of operation or safe working. Here, the set of rules which we inculcate in while traveling of a railway or the locomotive in these track conditions. We set a few rules, and these rules are useful for the safe working of these locomotives to end to end, and also the method of operations. So not all these methods require the use of physical signals, and some systems are specific to single track railways. So here in the local trains, or maybe in the uh, for a single purpose of a train, we may see the train in the that particular single track only that locomotive can travel. So for these single track locomotives or the single track railways, these physical signals may sometimes more specific for this use. And also the earliest rails cars were first hauled by horses or mules. A mounted flagman on a horse preceded some early trains. Hand and arm signals were used to direct the train drivers. In the foggy and poor visibility conditions, gave rise to flags and lanterns. Wayside signaling dates back as far as 1832, and used elevated flags or balls that could be seen from a far distance. Here, in the olden days, these conditions where the foggy and the poor visibility conditions may arise, then the trains which are passing can carry the flags and lanterns on the top of these uh, locomotives to make visibility of these locomotives from a far distance, and also these elevated flags and balls can be seen from a far distances. Here, a signal is a mechanical or electronic device erected beside a railway line to pass information relating to the state of the line, information relating to the state of the line ahead to train or engine drivers. The driver interprets the signal's indication and acts accordingly to the signals uh, he has observed. And these typically a signal might inform the driver of the speed at which the train may leave, train may safely proceed, or it may instruct the driver to stop. Uh, Signals which are used to indicate one or more that the line ahead is clear, free of any obstruction or blocked. These signals show that the line of the track, the line of the path of the track is free or having any trouble for traveling to the on the track. So these signals may also give permissions to proceed on the same track for the driver. That points are set correctly, which way points are set. And also these signals can have a clear and can have to be applied to the driver, that these signals may also give permissions for the free uh, traveling of on the tracks in this path of the direction the tracks are laid, and the speed the train may travel. These indications, these signals may show that if the uh, track that has been movement of the locomotive in the direction, the track has been free, or it must have any obstructions. So these signals may impart that these indications may be observed by the driver that the track is of free in conditions, and these signals may also provide the speed limit to the driver, and also provide permissions to the driver for proceeding of the locomotive in the movement directions, the state of the next signal, and that the train orders are to be picked up by the crew. The signals can be placed when the start of the section of the track on the approach to a mobile item of infrastructure, such as points or switches or swing bridges, in advance of other signals on the approach to a level crossing at a switch or turnout ahead of platforms or other places that trains are likely to be stopped. Here, these signals have a major purpose on placing on the track while approaching of a level crossing. These signals show the approaching of a level crossing, or if any switch or turnout has been there on the track. These signals also impart to uh, display to be known for the driver if there is any switch or turnout. And also these switches can also be known by watching up of those signals which are placed next to that of a track. And also these signals can be useful for showing the driver there is a swing bridge or the points of switches and any mobile item of infrastructure through that part of the track. So these signals may be placed for advancing the driver of the train to be known more frequently about the track, uh, more about the track and the far more distances it is traveling. It can be known by using of these signals at train order stations. Also, these running lines are usually continuously signaled. Each line of a double track railway is normally signaled in one direction only, with all signals facing the same direction on either line. Where bi-directional signaling is installed, signals face in both directions on both tracks, sometimes known as reversible walking, where lines are not normally used for bidirectional walking. Signals are generally not provided for controlling movements within sidings or ad areas. These signals can only be used on the moving locomotive to know the upcoming next point of the track, whether to proceed or to stop, if the track has having any obstructions or not, and also to maintain the if any curvature occurs, the mm, signals we placed before that curvature can be shown that the driver can uh, be known about the curve ahead, and it can be he can maintain the speed, the traveling speed of that locomotive or the train to the next junction, to the next signaling point, to the next station. So these signals can also be used for the purpose of regulating the speed of this locomotive. And these signals are not provided for controlling movements within the sidings or in the ad areas where the trains are placed or rested. So the types of signals which are classified into various categories based on the operating characteristics, the functional characteristics, and also the location characteristics and all special characteristics. Here, on operating characteristics, we are having detonating signals when if the foggy or the any not visible conditions may appear, these detonating signals can be used. And also the hand signals for the visual indications of the signals, the fixed signals, these are also the visual indication signals. The functional characteristic consists of stopper, semaphore signals, the warner signals, and shunting signals, colored light signals. The location characteristics, reception signals, the outer signal and home signals, departure signals, the starter and advanced starter signals. The special characteristics of these signals are repeater or coacting signals, routing signals, calling on signals, point indicators, modified lower quadrant semaphore signals, and miscellaneous signals. Here, the detonating signals which are used in the foggy conditions or audible signals. Uh, these in the foggy conditions, the train driver or the locomotive uh, operator cannot see the in the foggy conditions. If a station is in front of the rolling the moving train, if the audible, if he cannot see the station where he has to stop this locomotive for the passengers to hop in or hop out, these detonating signals or the audible signals which make audible to the to the operator of this locomotive. These station yards are in front of him, so he can uh, audible of these signals and can apply a breakage for the stopping of these locomotive in the stations. And hand signals, here you can observe the hand signals. Here in this image you can see the detonating signal fixed to rail by means of clips exploded with a loud sound for safety, placed at least 4 to 500 meters ahead of the signals. Here, uh, hand signals. The hand signals are uh, shown by an man with his hands, with his bare hands, or the flags which in his hands during daytimes by flags fixed to a wooden handle or by bare arms. If he shows in this picture, in this image, we can see if he stands in front or the side of this train or moving locomotive, this says that a danger is ahead and you have to stop the locomotive as soon as you can see this posture of a hand signals. And cautions move slowly for these signals of the hand and also for the clear, and you can proceed from this station with this image. During nighttime, by lamps, mobile glass lights, green to proceed and red to stop, and yellow proceed cautiously. These during daytime, these hand signals can be observed. During nighttime, these cannot be observed. So a mobile lamp of glass slides when, if he the station in the station, the locomotive can move freely without any cautions. The green light is provided, and if is there any danger signs, then the red light can be used for stopping of that locomotive, and yellow light indicates to proceed the locomotive cautiously, and used by the guards. These hand signals are used by the guards, station masters, cabin man, gangman, and keyman, point man, or any authorized man. In case of a person riding in or on a vehicle, either arm waved up and down denotes stop. Up and down denotes stop. Signaling, here the functional character types of signals. First one, the stop or semaphore signals. Stop or semaphore signals. In these stop signal semaphores, you can observe here the British semaphore or stop signal, the lower quadrant type. Here, the lower quadrant LQ semaphore type. This design is to show the stop position of any failure that happens to be in the apparatus. In normal position, it indicates the stop position placed on LHS, left hand side of the direction of the movement of the locomotive, and the mobile arm projects towards the track for indicating the signal. The semaphore arm of a stop signal is red in front with a white stripe near the end, and white in the black with a black stripe near the end. The arm is square ended. The arm is square ended. The arm is square ended, and signal aspects are as shown in images. Here you can observe ordinary position. The horizontal, that is on position, indicates stop or danger ahead on the track for the moving of the locomotive. These arm indicates if the lever arm placed in this position, the horizontal position, that is on position, which may gives information to the operator of the locomotive that the train has to be stopped, or the danger of a on the track can be observed. So when the signal is pulled to 45 to 60 degrees off position, indicates proceed. This signal here can be used for the proceeding of the locomotive. So here you can observe this is the stop and this is the clear and proceed semaphore signals. A stop signal, which is any signal most restrictive indication, is danger, which compels a stop of the locomotive on the particular movement in the direction of that uh, locomotive. Here the stop signals are used to protect junctions, points, level crossings, movable bridges, platforms, or block sections. A particular signal box may control one or more stop signals on each running line. In a traditional mechanically signaled area, it have two stop signals governing each line. Um, a particular signal box may control one or more stop signals on each running lane. So if it has the track is of a double lane track, so only one semaphore signals are used for the running lane. So the other has to be governed by the hand or another type of signals. The first reached by a train is known as the home signal. The last stop signal, known as the starting or section signal, is usually located past the points and controls entry to the block section ahead. The distance between the home and starting signals is usually quite short and allows a train to wait for the section ahead of it to clear without blocking the line all the way back to the previous stop signal. So we may have observed that in the reaching to the stations, while we are traveling in a train to reaching up to a station, the train which we are traveling can be stopped about a distance of kilometer 5 kilometers ahead due to the there is already a moving train on this same track on the same path on the same compartment, you may observe. So the stopping of these uh, last stop starting signal can be observed to stop that locomotive to entry to the station. So while clearing of that, these signals helpful to clear and without any blocking can be seen in this moving up of the trains, so that these signals may have been useful for clearing and making any does not have any much blockaging occur for using of these signals. So at some locations more than one home signal might be provided on the same line. These will be identified by names such as outer home and inner home, or first home or second home, etc. Here, the stopper, semaphore signals, the lower quadrants and middle lower quadrants. Here, these are the stopper semaphore signals. These are the warner signals. You can observe here if the lever arm has been arranged to the post in an horizontal line, it indicates for the driver that the locomotive is to be stopped. There is a danger ahead while moving in the same track. So these drivers, these operators can be seen these indications, and they slowly stop their locomotive without endanger the passengers who are traveling in the train. And if the signal indicates in an inclined position, the lever arm indicates the inclined position to the post, that indicates a green light has been lighted. So it indicates to proceed the locomotive in the without any obstructions. It may travel from one end to the other junction. And here you can observe these semaphore signals have only two signals, stop and proceed, and these are later modified with three signal. Lever arms can be positioned in three uh, angles, that a horizontal and inclined and in vertical positions. In the horizontal, we have previously seen that a stop or danger bells has to be seen on the track, so the train has to be stopped. And here if there are any junctions, if there are any crossovers, can be uh, can be seen. uh, there is a passage of these railway in the road sections. From this track, there is a road section that has been passing through it. So in those junctions, they have been used these type of signals, that there's maintain a caution while traveling those platform, those junctions, with cautiously on moving on those tracks. And here these semaphore signals indicates in vertical direction of this lever arm. These semaphore signals indicates uh, proceed the locomotive in the track which we are traveling, and these are the Warner signals. The semaphore Warner signal on a post by itself on, and semaphore signal on post by itself off. Here, two lever arms, the rear arm and lever arm, has to be placed. If those are in horizontal position, this means to stop the locomotive. In the on position, we have to stop the locomotive, and in the inclined position, we may move on to the uh, from one end to the other junction with ease. And here the Warner signals the V notch at free end, and the white band is also V shaped. A semaphore signal at the entrance to the station is combined with a Warner signal. Here combination of Warner stop, combination of Warner. Here, this is the semaphore signal. This is the Warner stop signal. Here, the combination of this, the lever arm, the V notch at the free end for the lever arm can be observed, and a white band is also V shape a semaphore signal. And this is the combination of Warner caution signal. This is the combination of both Warner and semaphore signals. Here, in this combination, it can involves that the driver, the operator can be understand by watching these signals is to stop the locomotive, and from these indications, he can observe that the caution should be taken while proceeding on that track. And these signal indicates the combination of Warner to proceed the locomotive on the track which he is moving the train. And lone Warner cautions, lone Warner cautions, single lever arm is used in the lone Warner caution. And here the semaphore Warner signal in two. Here you can observe these are the images can be used for the semaphore Warner signal in the combination. A colored light signals. The stop signal may have two green above red, uh, three like green, yellow, red, or four lamps, yellow, red. Aspects are as shown in the below. Here you can observe this is the stop signal, and this is caution, and this is proceed. Here green is placed above for locomotive to travel very cautiously in those junctions, in those tracks for to the next junction. So here These colored lights indicates that to stop the locomotive. Uh, these are taken from those combination of Warner stop signals. Here you can observe if there are only two lights provided in this colored light signaling units, these two lights indicates a red color, so the train has to be stopped on the track immediately. There's a danger on the track if he further moves the locomotive. And if these two lights, one indicates in these lights, one indicates red above, a green light indicates, it shows that a caution has to be taken while passing through the junction. And also if a green light indicates above another green light, these indications shows that easy passage of proceeding of locomotive or the train in the junction. And here in this is one condition of the color light. There are another condition that indicates only one signaling light of color light has been shown, or indicates that the driver has to understand that if a single red light is lighted, then he has to be noted that it is a danger signal and has to stop the train on the without any movement. So if in single green color light indicates that a proceeding of this locomotive or the train on the path. So here the stop here in these uh, four color lamps, yellow, red, yellow, green, yellow, may be seen. Red, yellow, green, yellow. Four color lamps can be used in the signaling units. Here, if a red signal only indicates to stop, or there is a danger ahead on the track, so the locomotive has to be stopped on that position when the operator observes these red signal. And if an yellow signal, if an yellow signal only uh, seen, there has to be a caution has to be taken in the crossing of those junctions. If two yellow lights can be seen on a signaling lights, the attention has to be taken while crossing those junctions. And if a green light indicates to proceed without any cautions on the track, which in the movement of the direction of this locomotive. Shunting signals. Here the ground shunting signals is endangered signal to stop the locomotive, and a ground shunt signal is to clear the path of the junction as much as speedily clear the junction. And this is the danger signal, and this is ground shunt signal which clears which allows the driver to freely move the junction. And here the type shall be either a disc signal or be a position light signal. Under special instructions, a shunt signal may be a miniature semaphore arm. Disc signals. The front of the disc shall be white with a red bar. The back of the disc shall be white with a black bar. By day, the bar of the disc shall be horizontal on the on position and 45 to 60 degrees below the horizontal in off position in anti-clockwise direction. By night, the signal shall display red light in on position and a green light in the off position. These miniature semaphore signals, the arm of the shunt signal shall be square-ended, and the front of the arm shall be red with a white bar. The back of the arm shall be white with a black bar. The back of the arm shall be white with a black bar, and the bars shall be parallel to the end of the arm. Location type of signals we may see is of shunt signal, may be separately located on the post or close to ground, or may be fixed below a stop signal other than the first stop signal of the station. Where shunt signal is required to be fitted on the signal post on which a calling on signal is also fitted. The shunt signal shall be fitted below the calling on signal. The shunt signals placed below a stop signal or a calling on signal shall not be capable of being worked at the same time as the relative stop or calling on signals. Where a shunt signal is fixed below a stop signal, it shall show no light on the on positions. In the diverging routes, more than one shunt signal may be placed on the same post, and when so placed, the topmost shunt signal shall apply to the extreme left-hand line, and the second shunt signal from the top shall apply to the next line from the left, and so on. If we place these shunt signals of 4 4 on a pole, that first one indicates the extreme left hand line route, so that the passing of the locomotive on the extreme left hand can be observe the first signal, and from that the second shunt signal from the top shall apply to the next line from the left, and so on. These diverging routes can be with more number of tracks can be used these number of shunt signals, and one shunt signal with or without route indicator may also be provided for a number of diverging routes. The location characteristics, here in these location characteristics, we have seen that reception signals are outer signals and adequate distances and home signals. Here, in these reception signals, these are signals which control the reception of trains into a station, and the outer signals be home signals at station. At some stations include routing signals. These are reception signals are the signals which control the receptions of the trains into a stations. Receptions of the trains into a stations. And here, on the outer signals, this is the first stop signal at the station. First stop signal at the station for the locomotive on the track on the track. Here in these outer signals, this is the first stopping signal at a station, and it indicates the entry of train from block to the station yard and should be placed at adequate distance from the point up to which the line can be obstructed after permission to approach has already been given. And in the adequate distances in India, it is of 0.54 kilometer for broad gauge and 0.40 kilometer for meter gauge, that is of signals provided at the distance beyond the station limit. Generally one arm, but may have one signal on the same post nearly 2 meters below it. The driver must bring his train to a stop at a distance of 90 meters before the outer signal, and then proceed to the home signal with caution. Home signal with cautions. The adequate distances uh, beyond the station limit for broad gauge it is of 0.54 kilometer, and for meter gauge it is of 0.40 kilometers. The driver must bring his train to a stop at a distance of 90 meters before the outer signal, and then proceed to the home signal with caution, and proceed the start of the uh, locomotive with a caution. And here we can observe the home signals. Due to its location at a door of station, it is termed as a home signal. It has a bracketed arms to indicate which line is to be used. It is one of the most important functions of interlocking to ensure that the route is properly set before the signal arm is taken to off position. So the function of home signal is to protect the sidings already occupied. It is therefore located not more than 180 meters from the start of the points or switches, and unless there are other means of holding the route. The lock retaining bars are provided to hold the route when the distance is more than 180 meters. Hence, signals carry as many arms as the number of diverging lines. Here, previously we have discussed about the shunt signals. Likewise, likewise depends upon the classifications of these locations. The signals can be carried, the signals can be maintained as many of the arms as the number of diverging lines from one route has been seen here. These lever arms from the top of the lever arm indicates the far left hand side of the line, and the second one indicates second one from the left side of the track. So these arms indicates the signals to the train that is diverged to the uh, number of track. So these drivers can promptly know those positions of the placing of those line and these lever arms. So easy passage of tracks, easy passage of those locomotives or the trains can be seen if we maintained the track carrying of those signals properly, and can be observed those signals properly. So in this lecture we have seen the types of signals we are so far using in this movement of the locomotives or the railways. So in the next class we are going to discuss about the signals, starter signal, departure signals, and an advanced starter signals, and the station yards where these signaling positions, and also the junction signal, how to indicate these junction signals, and an approach route under track locking junction signals, and a signaling at double track junctions, and repeaters. These special character signals can be seen in the next class. Thank you.